What up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And we're coming at you with another video today, and we do apologize for it being so late. We ended up not having time to work on it until today, so ordinarily we try to get this out on Monday. It's Wednesday. It happens sometimes. We will try to avoid this in the future, but unfortunately college is a little bit annoying. But today, we're going to be talking about the New England Patriots Week 5 matchup against the New Orleans Saints. The Patriots have hit rock bottom. I don't think it gets worse. 0 points. 3 turnovers. The offensive line might as well not exist. Wide receivers not getting open, except for Douglas, which is why we're not playing him. Although he did get hurt in this game, so there's kind of a reason we couldn't in this one, but he hasn't been played nearly enough anyway. Mac Jones, his second consecutive game with a pick six, where he just tried to do too much, trying to throw out of a sack and instead takes the hit, and that causes the ball to float right into a defender's hands, and Tyrann Mathieu is able to snag it and run it for a touchdown. The second interception is not on Mac Jones in any way, shape, form, or fashion. He hit Ty Montgomery in the stomach, and he just straight up bobbled it into Granderson's hands. Perfect throw by Mac, hit his open receiver. Nothing he can do there. The fumble was, it was on a 3rd and 1 pitch play where they faked the touch push. We're trying to pitch right to Ramondre, who, if Mac had executed the pitch, probably would have scored a touchdown, and that would have made the game 21-7 at that point for New England. So it would have gotten them back into the game. But instead, Mac throws it just a little bit behind Ramondre. Ramondre gets a hand on it but can't bring it into himself as he's moving away from the ball. Ball falls and bounces straight into the arms of New Orleans. And after that, it just was pretty much over. And Belichick, midway through the third quarter, said it was over by punting on 4th and 3 at the Saints, I want to say 40-yard line, instead of going for it when down 24-0. That was him waving the white flag. Zappe coming in is also him waving the white flag. It is not him saying Zappe's better than Mac. Zappe was not better than Mac in this game at all. Zappe was 3 for 9, I think, something like 27 yards or something like that. I don't even know if he had that much. It wasn't a lot. And he missed several wide open throws, so to those of you who are clamming for Bailey Zappe, the answer is no, he is not the answer. The biggest takeaway from this one for me on the offensive side of the ball is that every single person needs to play better. But, most importantly, the offensive line. The offensive line has statistically been the worst offensive line in the entire NFL. The worst in the whole league. Receivers are not getting open. There isn't a lot of separation there. That's not a successful formula. How on earth Mac Jones only got sacked twice? I don't know. There was one play where I think it was a crucial 3rd down, and we had the ball just inside of New Orleans territory. Ball is snapped. I think it was a 2.5 seconds after the snap. Both tackles are beaten, and Mac is about to get pummeled by 2 guys on both sides. He doesn't even have time to drop back and think about who he's going to throw it to. And then he goes to throw, takes a hit, boom, interception, return for a touchdown. Oh, guys can't block. Bam. Ramondre Stevenson, Ezekiel Elliott getting absolutely nowhere. I there has been a level of failure across the board on the offense. Mac Jones not playing as well as we know he can, as well as he played in weeks 1 and week 2. Stevenson not playing as well as we know he can play. We saw how well he was last year. Ezekiel Elliott not playing as well as we know he can play. And honestly, guys on the offensive line, Trent Brown did not have a great game. And he has been the cornerstone of our offensive line. He's normally very reliable, but today, he was not good. Guys are not playing the way that we know they can play. At all. The last 2 games, it's not good enough. And I think every Patriot fan has kind of realized, yeah, the last 2 games are not good enough. The problem is that every single person wants to point at one guy. It's Mac Jones's fault. Oh, it's the O-line's fault. Oh, it's all the receivers' fault. Oh, it's Bill Belichick's fault. Oh, it's Bill O'Brien's fault. I'm going to go ahead and give a news flash to all of you who are thinking that way. It's everybody's fault. Every single player, coach, personnel, all of the above involved with this offense needs to do better. I need to see more from Mac Jones. I need to see more from Stevenson and Elliott. I need to see more from our wide receiving core. Even Bourne and Douglas, who have been the 2 big bright spots, still feel like they could be doing a little bit better sometimes. You know, Hunter Henry had a good first couple weeks, completely fell off. What happened to him? I don't know. Can I have week 1, week 2 Hunter Henry back, please? Offensive line, I understand the injuries. I get that. I get that you're not healthy. And it's tough to play when you're not healthy, especially when you've played several very good pass rushes. New Orleans have a pretty good pass rush. The Eagles have a pretty good pass rush. The Dolphins, not the greatest, but it's still a pretty solid one. Jets have a very good pass rush. Like, I understand you're not exactly playing easy opponents either, but that doesn't mean that it should look this bad. Everyone's got to step up. Everyone's got to improve. I have seen every single player on this unit play much, much better football than they have been the last 2 weeks. And I know this because I watched weeks 1 and 2. Where for long stretches of those games, we outplayed 2 of the best teams in the entire NFL. We completely outplayed the Eagles in the second half. We completely outplayed the Dolphins in the second half. Outplayed them. Those are 2 of the top 5 teams in the NFL. And we outplayed them for long stretches. 3 weeks later, people will have us as the worst team in the league. Like, what happened? What happened in those 2 weeks between Miami and Dallas? Like, the Jets game was a win, like we won. Was it the prettiest game ever? No. But 1, it was against the Jets, and 2, it was in the rain. That is a formula for an ugly game. What happened? Like, this isn't the same team that I was watching a few weeks ago. Something fundamentally changed, and I can't tell what. The one thing that stayed consistent was early turnovers that made getting back into the game difficult. The only game that wasn't really the case was the Jets. But against Philadelphia, against Miami, against Dallas, against New Orleans, early turnovers, early deficit. We were very, very close to climbing out of that deficit. against Philadelphia and against Miami and showed, hey, we're a team who can play with some grit, who can tough it out. After Dallas, we just folded. And I don't know if it was like the Christian Gonzalez injury just knocked the wind out of our sails in that game, because literally the play after he got hurt, they got a touchdown. I don't know. I want to know what happened, genuinely. So those are my thoughts on the offense. Real quick, going to talk about the defense. The effort is there. They haven't been put in the best position by the offense and by the injuries. The secondary has been heavily injured. I do like the J.C. Jackson acquisition. Hopefully he's able to do well. In the absence of Gonzalez, I think we might be getting Jack Jones back this week. We'll see. I've heard that he was at practice today. Not sure if he was limited or not. We'll see. Jack Jones would be a nice player to have back. Jonathan Jones. I don't remember if he played in this game or not. If he didn't play against the Saints, I think he's against the Raiders. Jonathan looks like he's coming back, and he's a guy who we need back. He's cornerback 1. Basically. And he's a pretty solid player, so he'll be nice to have back. Man, that Judon injury, I get, is deflating. It's tough. He's the best player on the entire team. He was the cornerstone of a very good defensive rush, and I still think it's a good defensive rush. Although I would like to know what has happened to Devon Godshaw the moment... He went full Joe Burrow the moment we gave him a payday. Starts stinking. Starts playing terribly, so... I don't know. But defense, not our best performance in this one, but not our worst either. We didn't play too bad, and, like, midway through the third quarter, the game was over anyway, so, like, anything after that is meaningless, so... And I still gotta give them credit. The effort was definitely there, and they definitely did what they could. But they got no support elsewhere. Special teams, as well, has not been good. Ryland missed a 48-yarder. Windy day, yes. Still don't like that he missed it. But... And... special teams has to improve as well. So, I don't... There's definitely a lot of issues with New England right now. And basically, where I'm at is, as a fan, is I am just delusional enough to believe that we can turn this thing around. So... That's basically my thoughts on New England this week. I know I rambled there for a good while there, Mr. T-Bone, but I would like to get your thoughts.
Thanks, Vegas. Yeah, that was certainly one of the games of all time. That was hard. That was hard to watch. As a Panthers fan, that was difficult to watch. I'm glad you're doing somewhat okay. You're starting to tweak there a little bit, but. Just my basic thoughts. Your offense has just got to make some more plays and just a little bit of something. Make any magic work. I mean, 0 points, can't manage any points. That needs something. Defense is keeping you guys in some of these games, but still, even then, a lot of the injuries have just hit you. And I think maybe the loss of Christian Gonzalez is just a punch in the mouth, and you guys just don't know what to do. But I'll say this on the special teams, guys did great the first 2 games, excellent, and then the past 2 games it just hasn't been good. It's been a lot of flip flopping this season, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, sad all the same, but interesting. So. I'm hoping you guys can turn it around and do something, because 1-4 is not right offable. 1-5 is. 1-4 and 2-4 is not. So, wishing you all the luck, man. But, geez, don't want you to join me down here in the top 10 first round picks. Oh wait, I can't.
Nah, you get pick number 33. So yeah,
Woo!
loads of fun. Now, the last 2 games have led a lot of people to ask a lot of questions about the future of this organization. What about Mac Jones? What about Bill Belichick? What about this? What about that? And I'm at a point where I'm not ready to ask those questions yet. I want to see how the team bounces back from this first. I want to see how they do against Oakland. They're going to be going to Oakland this Sunday. So I want to see how they do there, how they respond. And then I want to see, after that, how they handle Buffalo and Miami back-to-back. Once you go 3 games into the future and see how they play and what they change and what they do, will very much change the conversation, I think. It'll either change it, or it'll just, if we don't adjust well and continue playing poorly, even more questions will add up. I'm not going to start asking those questions until after the Dolphins game, just to see, hey, where are we at, you know? This is a rough 2 weeks, but I'm still at the point where I don't think it's the end of the world yet. If you're able to beat the Raiders, then you got Bills, Dolphins. If somehow, I don't anticipate it, but if somehow you're able to steal one of those 2 games, you're then 3-5 with the Commanders and Colts. You win those 2 games, all of a sudden you're 5-5 going into the bye. So all you have to do to be 500 going into our Week 11 bye is beat the teams who we should beat, and then get 1 upset in 2 games against teams that we are familiar with, and against a Dolphins team who we were close to beating already earlier this year. Again, if we play like we did these past couple of weeks, that's not happening. But the Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league, and they're an opportunity to try to figure something out. And you know that Belichick is going all out this week to try to figure something out for this team. But if we're able to go into the bye at 500, our next 3 games out of the bye are Giants, Chargers, Steelers. And if we're able to go into the bye at 500, that means we're going to have momentum on our side. So we can go into Giants, Chargers, Steelers, 3 teams who are absolutely underperforming this year. We can try to make something happen. So you win 2 of those games, you're 7-6. And then you got Broncos and Jets later on in the year. Those are winnable games. That's 9 wins. That might get into the playoffs, it might not. Who knows? The season is always going to be weird because it's the NFL. Just because we've played bad the last 2 weeks, I don't think the season's over yet. But it is entirely contingent on them finding their form again, them regaining their footing, and getting a win this week against the Raiders. If you lose to the Raiders this week, you might as well phone it in. Because then the hole becomes too big. But that's kind of where I'm at. The Raiders themselves are coming off of a win over the Packers, which I don't know if that tells us more about the Raiders or the Packers, if I'm being quite honest. Josh McDaniels has made some boneheaded decisions as a coach, including in that game. So, interesting thing is, there are a lot of former Patriots, both in the coaching staff and players, who are on the Raiders this year. So this could be an interesting one. Obviously, last year, playing the Raiders, I will forever have PTSD from the ending to that game. So that didn't exactly go well for us, but that was definitely a turning point in our season where things really went downhill. But maybe we can take this game and turn it into a turning point where things start to go uphill again. Maybe it's just the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders cause us to flip-flop and start winning or losing games. Who knows? But you have to beat the Raiders this week if you want your season to continue. Because if you can't beat the Raiders this week, who the hell are you going to beat? So that's where I'm at. I think we can do it. I think we should do it. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah. Thanks, Vegas. Completely agree. I really you took the words out of my mouth. Vegas. Vegas is the must win team that you gotta beat. You gotta beat Las Vegas. You gotta beat the Raiders to do something to turn the season around. I don't because then if you're 1-5 and it's the Raiders, you're demoralized. There's not much more you can do. I mean, you can sure try and turn it around, but Raiders is what you need to do to salvage this season and hope to get something. Furthermore, it's a grudge match. It's revenge from last year. So I definitely think that this will, and it'll be an interesting game to watch because, like you said, a lot of former Pats on the Raiders right now. One particular minority owner that we would know about, but that's about all I have. Really, just you guys have got to win against the Raiders, or you better start kissing that season goodbye.
Yeah, I honestly think that's just where we're at right now. If we lose to the Raiders, then those questions that I said we need to wait on, then I'm gonna start asking them a little bit. And then I'm gonna start, and if we lose, I'll talk about what I think needs to happen going forward for the New England Patriots. Because even though we're playing poorly, it feels like we're so close to being up there. But something's got to give. Something's got to give. We'll know in time. We will know in time. Please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.